Hi y'all, this is Larry at Deep South Texas. It's a busy time of year here in the garden, and in fact this is going to be my spring garden tour. Spring is a couple days away yet, but it'll be here shortly. In the meantime, we want to start off today by giving our tomatoes a little help in the pollination department. So I have this electric toothbrush, and I just use this to shake up those blossoms and shake some of that pollen off. Let's give it a try. Now I do this once a day while the tomatoes are flowering. I'll usually come around 10 o'clock in the morning and hit all the tomato flowers, and there is a lot of them. So that's one of my tasks. Let's take a look at the garden and see how it's doing. So as you've seen, my tomatoes are blooming. They're looking good, looking good. Big, huge stems, lots of growth. In fact, so much growth, I need to come out and start pruning my tomatoes a little bit here. And I'll be doing that this week. One other thing, when you're growing in these cages, you gotta constantly come out and make sure that the tomato leaves are growing up over the cage wires. If you miss that and the leaves get too big, it gets to be tough to put them up. Now I grow my tomatoes in these sort of standard tomato cages. You can get at any of the big box stores or garden centers. It on the surface appears not to be too professional a way to grow tomatoes, but though my season starts early, it ends early too. So these tomatoes will certainly grow up over the top of the cages, but shortly thereafter they're going to die. So my tomato seasons will be over mid-May, the end of May for sure. So they're not going to grow into August and September. I mean, it's too hot here at Deep South Texas for that. I have seen my first real tomatoes start to show up. They're small, but they're growing, and they will quickly turn larger and red. The onions that I planted from seed are looking pretty good, looking good. They're beginning to bulb up, and we should have onions to harvest in a couple months. The onions we started from onion plants are also doing well. They haven't started to bulb up yet, but they will in time. We've been harvesting cabbages right along. Still a bunch more ready to harvest. In fact, we harvested one yesterday and had it with corned beef to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So it was great. Later on today, in the cabbage patch, I'm going to plant some sweet potatoes to begin growing my slips for sweet potatoes this year. They'll be ready in about a month to 6 weeks to plant. All of the swallowtail butterfly caterpillars have disappeared, and the dill's taking advantage of that and growing crazy. I have Blue Lake pole beans planted to grow on this trellis. Got 8 buckets worth. They're growing fine. And on the other side of the pole beans, I have planted some cucumbers, and they're looking good as well. I'm going to plant a cantaloupe in this final bucket. We'll hope to do that this week. It's hardening off right now. The peppers are looking good. They're beginning to flower as well. These are jalapenos. And then I think I have a couple California Wonders here. A couple Cayennes. And a couple Anaheims. And in this bed I have a couple Sugar Rush Peach and a couple more California Wonders over there. I have one Cayenne that's already put on a little pepper. Let's take a look at that. And there it is. My first couple peppers from this year's plants. The carrots are doing okay. They're not as big as carrots I've grown in previous years. Neither the tops nor the roots. I think I had been growing the same carrots for 5 years out of the same seed packet. And this year I had to buy some more seed. And I bought the same kind of seed, Danvers half long, but these definitely look to be a different kind of carrot than I have been growing. The elephant garlic is looking good. And the leeks, they're looking good. Survived the transplanting just fine. Got a couple watermelons planted in this bed. They can grow and take over this whole space if they want to. I've also got a couple barrels full of winter squash, and again, they can take over all this space here by the fence. Hopefully they'll crawl up the fence and stay out of the pathways, but we'll find out. The moringa is starting to bud out, put up new branches, so it survived the winter okay. But the bananas, I'm not too sure about. The trees basically look dead. I've taken out the other 2 banana trees we grew last year. This one I've left up just hoping that these bananas mature a little. And it looks like they might be starting to turn a little bit yellow. But even the pups, which were fully covered during our coldest days of the winter, they're not looking too good either. So luckily I've got at least one pup that I kept in the garage, so if we can't get anything else to grow here, we'll plant that one. The aloe vera plant that looked like it survived the cold just fine has now put up flower stalks. So I'm wondering if it thinks it's about ready to die as well. Yeah, it should be nice to watch those flowers grow. Here are some Anaheim peppers that overwintered from last year, and also this yellow bell pepper, also overwintered from last year. And eggplants. More and more and more and more eggplants. So this half of the garden is still running off of overhead irrigation. Going to try to get this switched to drip irrigation in the next couple weeks. The other half of the garden, though, has been running on drip irrigation for the full season, and you know, it's looking good. I'm not seeing any particular problems with keeping the beds moist enough for the plants. That may change as we head a little bit farther into the summer, but I can just increase the time on the drip. Here's one pepper plant we saved from last year. It's not quite as healthy as it was last year, but I think it's going to do just fine. Here we have some bush green beans. On this side are purple, and that side are Blue Lake bush beans. The purple ones were up a little bit earlier, even though they were planted at the same time. And some of the leaves got a little bit nipped, but plants look healthy now. The potatoes look real healthy. This on this end of this bed are red Pontiacs, and then we have Kennebecks here. And usually my potatoes don't flower, but this one looks like it's trying to start to flower now. And another bed of the red Pontiacs over there. And we have summer squash in this bed. That is yellow straight neck, and it put on its first flower this morning. It's a male flower, but showing progress. And this is a green zucchini. I wanted two plants of each of these, but I only yielded one from my seed starting process. So I planted some more, another hill of seeds for each of those in this bed. And this barrel, I believe this is a ghost pepper or a Carolina Reaper. We'll find out as it grows. I kind of got some of my pepper plants mixed up during the hardening off process, but I think that's what this one is. The horseradish leaves are turning a little mottled and yellow. I wonder if they were affected by the cold. In any event, it looks like they're putting out some new leaves. So I think we're okay with this as well. I've never grown horseradish before, so not sure what to expect. Starting to see lots of flower buds on my navel orange tree. In fact, there's some little oranges just started right there. And the Meyer lemon tree, well, it has lemons. We didn't get very many last year, but I think we're going to have a bunch of them this year. And we have an orange tree over here that's also just loaded with blooms. And here is a Texas mountain laurel growing in my backyard. And we have butterflies and bumblebees, although it might be hard to catch one of those. Just beautiful. Oh, there's one there. I need to get these bumblebees sent over to the garden. And And here is Bailey, the newest member of the Deep South Texas family. My wife picked her up from the Humane Society a couple weeks ago, and she has been doing really well. However, in the last 2 days, she's been paying special attention to the chickens, and that hasn't been good. So she's been in the doghouse for a couple days, and she'll remain there until we get her trained. But I'm sure we can do that. So for most of you, spring is right around the corner. But for me, summer is right around the corner. Our days are reaching into 80 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and the nighttime temperatures are very, very mild. It's going to turn hot here in Deep South Texas, but the garden looks like it's ready. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.